Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Prof. Good morning, Prof.
Sorry for the late start. I forgot about the time. I thought we were going to start at 8 o'clock. So, nevertheless, we will be able to cover enough today. And hopefully, next week, we will use the same weekend to finish. So, we are still within time. Okay. So, last week, we looked at the introduction. And we also covered some definitions of the term strategy. We look at the features of strategy, and we also look at what strategic management is. And then we look at the importance of having strategy. We also consider the vision mission statement. And we said that without the vision and the mission, you cannot have a strategy. So we look at vision, mission statement, and then we started the strategic management process. We said that the process is made up of three parts: the strategic position of the organization, the strategic choices for the future, strategy into action, and strategic evaluation and control. So we started with the strategic position of the organization, and then we mentioned that this is made up of the internal environment and the external environment of the organization, what we call strategic analysis. Some people prefer to call it situational analysis. Others call it environmental scanning. They all mean the same. It's to diagnose, and some people even mention diagnosis, internal diagnosis or external diagnosis. So these terms are used interchangeably, depending on the orientation of who is doing it. So whether it's environmental scanning or diagnosis or situational analysis or external internal environmental analysis. So we look at the external part of the organization, and I mentioned that these are factors external to the organization, factors that are beyond the control of the manager, and which means that these are called the uncontrollable factors or uncontrollable variables. They are factors that are beyond the control, but it is important that the manager is able to identify these factors and how they can impact on the business. I also mentioned that these external factors do not affect businesses equally. They affect businesses depending on which industry you are working in. So you may have two or three of the factors. Anyway, we mentioned the factors using the PESEL model: political factors, economic, sociocultural, technology, the physical environment, and the legal environment. Beyond this, you can even look at the external environment beyond the country level. And we mentioned Ukraine-Russian war, world economic downturn, or financial crisis affecting our country. We also talk about the possible effect of the Israeli-Iranian war because of some strategic oil installations in Iran have been bombed, and that may create shortage of oil supply, and that may have consequences on our country and how we are doing business, because if oil prices are going up, it affects all aspects of the economy. This morning, we just heard that America has bombed three strategic installations in Iran, and all this may have ripple effects on our country and the way we do business. So these external factors do not affect organizations equally, as I mentioned. It all depends on which industry you are working in. So if I take education sector that I'm working in, so you realize that technology may be an issue because education is changing very fast because industry is also changing. And once industry is changing, the world of work is changing. It's important the education sector also react or respond appropriately. And that means there is a need to introduce appropriate technology within the education sector. Then the government regulations becomes very important because we are public universities and we need to, even if you are not public, even if you are a private university, you need to comply with the government regulations on education. So this may be two important factors that affect the education sector. But you cannot say the same about mining sector. In the mining sector, the physical environment, the legal environment maybe, and then political environment may be more important. When you take the financial institutions, the banking sector, for example, technology may be an issue. Sociocultural factors may be an issue because you are dealing with customers. So you cannot just ignore their tastes and preferences. So that may be an issue. Economic factors may be an issue because of exchange rate regimes, inflation, and what have you. So these factors affect industry differently. So when you are doing the analysis, it's important that you narrow the analysis to your specific industry rather than trying to apply all the factors to the industry. Right. So we also mentioned that whilst going through this external environmental analysis, you try to identify opportunities and threats that come with it. External factors come with both opportunities and threats, and it is important that you are able to analyze this well to be able to identify the opportunities and how you can take advantage of those opportunities and also deal with the external threat. Right. So once you have been able to go through the external analysis and identify your opportunities and threats, then you also turn to internal analysis. The early researchers try to explain the performance of the firm or profitability of the firm based on these external factors. And that went on for a long time until 1959, a woman called Penrose came up with her seminal work and made a strong argument that we cannot rely on only the external factors in explaining a firm performance. We must also consider internal factors because even if all the external factors or indicators are positive and they are creating opportunities, if you don't have your internal system right, you cannot take advantage of the opportunities. If you don't recruit the right people, you don't build a strong team, you don't have the right technology, you have not built a good communication system, you don't have the capital, you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the people, your brand recognition is low, all this contribute to the performance of the firm or profitability. So she made a point that it's important we also consider. However, when she came out with her seminal work, it was not taken seriously until 1992, 93. Other authors like Peter Ralph, J. Barney, and co. Revisited the original work done by Penrose in 1959. And they proposed that it's important we look inside the organization to consider internal strengths and weaknesses, so that if you are able to identify our internal strengths and weaknesses, then we'll be able to take advantage of the opportunities and deal with the weaknesses. So this part is going to focus on internal analysis. So done by Penrose, what is popularly known as the resource-based view of the firm. That is looking into the firm's internal resources and capabilities in explaining performance of the firm. So we say that the 5 forces framework is not the only tool used to undertake the micro analysis of the organization. Successful strategies are also dependent on organization having the internal strategic capability. So your internal strategic capability is so important. I always say that when you are looking at small businesses in our country, SMEs play a major role because they employ about 92% of the people in our country. So small businesses are so important. But when you talk to them, many of them are going to tell you their major problem is access to capital. Yes, access to capital is important, but the actual problem they have is building their strategic capability. For many of them, if you give them the loan, within 2-3 years, you go back and the money is gone. It is ability to manage the capital they have, ability to manage the businesses, ability to manage the loan we give them is more important. So you realize that these days, some banks have started, before they give you the loan, they need to identify your training needs, provide the training for them, build their capacity before they give them the loan. And that is the way to go. So the major problem may not be access to funding, but their major problem may be lack of capacity. So it's important that you build a capacity. They have their marketing strategies, they have their HR strategies, they are competent in the use of technology and all that. Then they will be able to manage the resources that they have for them to be successful and grow their businesses. So it is important that we consider the strategic capability of the organizations and not just looking at the external factors. So what then is a strategic capability? The strategic capability is defined as the adequacy and suitability of the resources and competencies of an organization for it to survive and prosper. So your strategic capability is made up of the resources and competencies that the organization has. So these resources and competencies must be adequate and they must be suitable. So we look at the resources aspect and then we look at the competencies aspect of the definition. So we say that resources are input into a firm's production process, and this include capital equipment, the skills of individual employees, your patent, the finance, and the talented managers that we have. So all these are required because they are important for the organization to be successful. So you don't just focus on the external factors, but you focus on your internal resources, the input into the firm's production process. And this include capital that you have, the equipment, the skills of your employees, the patents, the finance, the money that you have at the bank, and the talented managers that you have. These are considered as resources. So strategic capabilities comprises tangible and intangible resources and competencies. So resources are grouped under tangible and intangible resources. Tangible resources are the physical assets that we can see, we can touch, we can feel, and this includes the plant, labor, finance. In contrast, the intangible resources include the non-physical assets, those you cannot physically see, information you have, reputation, and knowledge. You agree, or you may agree with me, that in our part of the world, we only see the physical assets that we have as resources without giving premium to information, our reputation, and the knowledge we have. These are non-physical resources or intangible resources that are so important, and they are required for the organization to be successful. So resources can also be considered in terms of physical resources, financial resources, human resources, and intellectual capital. Intellectual capital is very important intangible resources, and they include the patents we have, the brand name we have, the customer database. Now everybody is talking about AI. AI cannot work without having the database. So companies, we are now talking about big data analytics. AI work on data. Without data, there's no AI. So it becomes a very important resources for the organization. So such resources are important, but how the organization use it, how you employ them, is equally important, and that takes us to the competencies. So the competencies is used to mean the activities and processes through which the organization deploys its resources effectively in a way that others cannot imitate. So how resources that you have, how they are employed, how they are deployed, the utilization, configuration of the resources and competence and capabilities that you have, that is what you call the competencies. So having the resources is important, but how these resources are used, utilization, employment, and deployment of the resources is what can give you advantage in a way that competitors cannot imitate you. So understanding resources and competencies is so important for the organization to gain competitive advantage. But it is not all resources and capabilities you have that can give you, or that have the potential to give you, a sustained competitive advantage. You can achieve that when your resources and capabilities meet certain conditions we call VRIN. Let me try to write it here for you. Sorry. VRIN. Your resources and capabilities will give you advantage when they meet these conditions. V stands for valuable, R stands for rare, I stands for inimitable, and N stands for non-substitutable. For your resources and capabilities to give you competitive advantage, they must be valuable. Valuable resources are resources that can help you to mitigate against threats coming from external environment, and also help you to take advantage of the opportunities within the external environment. Then we can say, I have a valuable resources. If you have resources and these resources cannot help you to take advantage of the opportunities in the external environment, and they cannot help you to also mitigate against threats coming from the external environment, then such resources are not valuable. And if your resources are not valuable, you cannot sustain your competitive advantage. So not all firms' resources and capabilities have the potential to be the basis of sustained competitive advantage. The potential is released when your resources are valuable. And we've said that valuable resources are those resources that can help you to exploit opportunities from the external environment and mitigate against the external threats. Your resources and capabilities must be rare in such a way that only few competitors have access to such resources. So you can say these are rare resources, meaning that only few competitors can have access to such resources. Then they must not be easily imitated, inimitable. Your resources and capabilities that you have should not be easily imitated. If you have strategic resources and they are easily imitated by your competitors, then you cannot gain advantage. So they should not be easily imitated. And then also they must be non-substitutable, meaning that there must be no strategic equivalent, no equivalent available for competitors to take. So they must be valuable, rare, inimitable, and non-substitutable. If you meet these conditions, then you can say that you can have a sustainable competitive advantage. In any industry you are operating, you want to be ahead of competitors, probably in terms of market share, in terms of quality, in terms of brand recognition, in terms of capital, in terms of profit. So you want to be ahead of competitors, but that is not enough. You must have what we call sustainable competitive advantage. If you are ahead of competitors today and tomorrow competitors overtake you, you have achieved nothing. You should be able to sustain your advantage over competitors. And they are saying that to be able to have sustainable competitive advantage, your resources and capabilities you have must be valuable, rare, inimitable, and non-substitutable. But the question is, how can you achieve this? It's difficult to achieve this. It is only those within the industry that have what we call core competencies that will be able to achieve this. So we will look at core competencies, different types of core competencies. And in a typical industry, you try to identify your KPIs, your key performance indicators. And these key performance indicators become areas of core competencies. So if one of your key performance indicators, your KPI is quality, you ask yourself whether you have a strength in the area of quality or you have a weakness. So you have superior skills in producing high capability, that's high quality. Do you have a strength or you have a weakness? Superior system for delivering customer order accurately and swiftly. When it comes to delivery to your customers, do you have a strength or you have a weakness? Better after sales service capability. Some companies have better after sales service capability. They will tell you that when you buy, they will supply, they will install, and they will give you service provision. Every 6 months, they will come and service the machine for you, and they can give you 1 year warranty. These are all after sales service capability. It's not only physical products. Last year, the business school had a conference at Kempinski Hotel, 5-day conference. And about 3 weeks ago, they had Kempinski delegation from Accra came to visit us to have a conversation with us about our experience with them when we came there, and if we have plans of coming there again and all that. And for me, this is after sales service capability. For them to travel all the way from Accra to come to the business school to follow up on the program we had there is commendable. And that is a capability that they have built. It establishes a strong bond between them and their customers, right? So after sales service capability is area of core competence. Quality is area of core competence. delivery is area of core competence. So in each of the areas, you need to assess yourself whether you have a strength there or you have a weakness there. If you want to do it on your own, you will say, of course, in terms of quality, we are the best. In terms of delivery, we are the best. You need to do this from the point of view of your customers. That is objective way of doing it. So you ask, like, I'm delivering this course after the semester. I come back to you to assess me. And normally the university will give you the opportunity to assess all lecturers. And the feedback that you give represent how the customer or how the client or how the student view the way you teach. And that is objective assessment. So if you are rating me very good, above 70, then we can say that I have a strength in the teaching of the course. If you are rating me below 40, I will say that I have a weakness when it comes to the teaching. So the business will have to do this from the point of view of the customers in terms of quality. How do you rate? If you have a sample size of 500 and averagely they're rating you 8 out of 10, it means you have a strength when it comes to quality. But if they are rating you 2.5 out of 10, it means you have a weakness. You can even group it under a major weakness, a minor weakness, a major strength, and a minor strength. So if you rate me 6 out of 10, I will consider it as a minor strength. If you are rating me maybe 4 out of 10, it is a minor weakness. If you are rating me 2 out of 10, it can be described as a major weakness. And it's important that you try to find out why the customers are rating you this way and what measures you need to put in place to reverse or to improve. That measures will be your strategy. Right. So we have more areas of core competence, skills, having more skills in achieving low operating costs. Some companies are very good constantly bringing their costs down whilst maintaining quality. Okay, so low operating costs, unique formula for selecting good retail location, unusual innovativeness in developing new products. You can see how Samsung and Apple have been doing excellently well when it comes to new product development. Better merchandising and product display skills, superior mastery of an important technology, unusually effective sales force. These are all areas of core competence. And in each area, you assess whether you have a strength or whether you have a weakness. There are several other areas. We can even look at your capitalization, your market share. Do you have a strength or weakness? If you take the telcos, you can see that MTN is having a major strength when it comes to market share because they are monopolizing the market. So they have a strength there. You can look at capital that we have. It can be the reputation in terms of quality or your brand. In terms of brand, KNUSC has a very good brand in the area of engineering, medicine, and so everybody wants to come here for those programs, and that means that we have a strength in that area. So your reputation, the brand name, the market share, and what have you. In terms of customer service, do you have a strength or you have a weakness? So whilst going through all this, you try to identify areas that you have strengths and areas that you have weaknesses. So by the time you go through this analysis, you will have a tall list of strengths, a tall list of weaknesses, and you are going to add it to the external environment opportunities and threats that you have identified, and that will be the basis for the SWOT. That will be the basis for the SWOT. Please, just a second. Yes. So when you put the two together, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, that will form the basis of your SWOT. So the SWOT is an acronym for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So when you have this tall list of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, you cannot, you can never deal with all your weaknesses at the same time. You can't deal with all the threats, problems you have at the same time. So it is important you prioritize. You prioritize. Sometimes during the New Year's Eve, 31st December, you go to the church and make your pledge that you are going to stop ABCD. Sometimes it doesn't take more than 24 hours. You go back to the old ways. So it is important that you prioritize and come out with the most important ones, the most pressing ones. So it can be 3, 4, or maximum 5 of the weaknesses, and then you try to deal with them. So the objective here is to turn the weaknesses to strengths and turn your threats to opportunities. Use your strength to exploit the opportunities available. So that is the basis for the SWOT. So I'm going to show a short video on SWOT analysis before we move on.
Hi, in this topic video we're going to take a quick look at a really popular model of strategic analysis called SWOT analysis. Now, SWOT analysis is just one of several models that a business can use, that management can use to assess where their business is positioned, both in terms of what it's good at, its strengths and weaknesses, and also the factors that are outside of its control. In other words, the nature of the external environment. So SWOT analysis is quite unusual in the sense it looks both at the internal as well as external issues facing the business. The SWOT analysis framework is a really simple one to remember. SWOT, the acronym, stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. And the key thing to remember about SWOT analysis is at the top half of the table is all about the factors that are internal to the business, things that are within the control of the business, whereas the bottom half the opportunities and threats, are all external to the business. In other words, they are outside of the control of the business, but the business needs to respond to them. The key thing when you're looking at the top half of the SWOT analysis is to try and identify genuinely what the business does well. So it's a search for where, if at all, a business has what's known as competitive advantages. These need to be sustainable. This isn't just for a week or a month. These are genuinely significant, sustainable advantages that a business has over the competition. If it doesn't have any of those advantages, it really doesn't have any sustainable strengths. So a key part of identifying those strengths is to perhaps benchmark the business against the competition in terms of key measures. And linked into that is this idea of key performance indicators. Not 20 or 30 indicators, but what are the 3, 4, 5 key indicators of competitive strength? And do they indicate that the business has a strength or a weakness? The kind of things we might be looking for there as we look for things the business is really good at compared with the areas where it is weak would be measures such as market share, the proportion of the market that the business has, how profitable the business is compared with the competition. A key measure there is the operating profit margin, which is a key indicator of relative profitability. How efficient is the business? What are its unit costs? Is it able to operate at a lower unit cost than the competition? That would certainly be a key strength. Moving on to things which are perhaps a little bit more intangible, but not, to be fair, still measurable. To what extent does a business have strengths or weaknesses in terms of its brand, the customer loyalty? And then could you also have a look at measures such as market capitalization, the value of the business, as a measure of strength or weakness? Perhaps also some other measures or key performance indicators about quality, perhaps customer service levels, the market reputation for quality, the extent to which customers complain about the business. Those are all areas that benchmarking and key performance indicators could identify as either strengths or weaknesses. The key thing when you're looking at the top half of the SWOT analysis is to really focus on the most important aspects. A SWOT analysis is a weak one if it's listing out 10 or 20 points under each heading. So it needs to be on the most important factors, and ideally the judgment that's made about whether something is a strength or a weakness should be independent rather than just the senior management team doing their own SWOT analysis. Looking briefly at the bottom half of the SWOT analysis, opportunities and threats, remember, are external to the business, and one threat to a business could be an opportunity to another. It all depends on how you perceive the factor. We've done a separate video on a model called pestle analysis, which is a really useful way of identifying the key factors in the external environment. And then what the business needs to do in terms of SWOT is to identify whether those factors are opportunities or whether they're threats. The key with opportunities is, can you exploit them? Does the business have the resources? Does it have the strategy to take advantage of the best opportunities? In terms of threats, the key strategic challenge is, how do you defend against them? How do you respond? So, opportunities and threats. If it's an opportunity, the key issue, what do we do? How do we make the best use? How do we take advantage? Threats, how do we protect against them? And of course, this links really nicely with this whole issue of risk management and contingency planning. So overall, how useful is SWOT analysis? Well, I've mentioned already that it's quite distinctive in the sense that it looks at both the internal and external factors impacting a business. And I think it's a fairly logical, easy to understand model, isn't it? Strengths and weaknesses, factors within your control, opportunities and threats, factors outside of your control. Done well, a SWOT analysis also focuses management on the key issues, the strategic issues. And in particular, it encourages management to look outside the business when it considers the external environment. Done badly, a SWOT analysis is usually far too detailed with too many points under each heading, and it lacks focus. And of course, a SWOT analysis is less useful if it's been done by the very team who make the strategic decisions. One final downside or weakness of SWOT analysis is that if you're not careful, particularly in a fast-changing external environment, the SWOT analysis can quickly become out of date. So you've got to keep on looking at the SWOT analysis and actioning it. That's been an introduction to the key management tool called SWOT analysis.
All right. So that is a message from the SWOT. Okay, so having established your SWOT, it means that you have actually established the strategic position of the organization. Now, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know the opportunities and threats. And it means that you have done what we call the situational analysis. And therefore, you need to consider the options available. The options are your strategies. You consider the strategic options. You consider all of them, and then you look at the most appropriate one that can help you to address the weaknesses that we have identified in the SWOT, or help you to take advantage of the opportunities, or help to mitigate against the external threat. So we move on to strategic options or choices to consider some of them. In fact, when it comes to strategic options, there are so many. We can't discuss all of them here within this course. The options available to the manager at the business level, we can think about no fresh strategies, low price strategies, differentiation strategies, hybrid strategies, focus strategies. At the corporate level, we can think about mergers, acquisition, downsizing. We can think about diversification, related diversification, unrelated diversification, vertical integration, horizontal integration, backward and forward integration, international diversification, developing a new product, or introducing a new product, or introducing a new market penetration strategies. There are several strategic options available to the manager. So you need to evaluate them, and then you adopt the most appropriate one that can help you to address issues that you raise in your SWOT analysis. So at this point, we are going to look at business level strategies. The Market Porter actually came up with what we call the generic strategies. That if you are a manager, you need to implement one of the three generic strategies that he proposed. He mentioned cost leadership strategies, he mentioned differentiation strategies, and then he mentioned focus strategies, and said that you have to choose one of the strategies. You cannot implement two or more of the strategies. If you do that, you are confusing your customers, and you are seen as being stuck in the middle, and that is a recipe for failure. But Porter has been heavily criticized that it is possible to implement 2 or more of the strategies that he proposed. So since then, other authors have come out with different versions of Porter's generic strategies. So what I have done is that I have provided you with materials on the Michael Porter's original generic strategies, the 3 strategies that he proposed. We're going through Bowman's strategic clock. Bowman actually came out with 5 generic strategies. And according to him, 5 strategies, the first one being the price-based strategy, is further divided into no-frills strategies and low-price strategies. So let's use the next 20 minutes or so to look at Bowman's strategic clock. So the first one he proposed is price-based strategies. And price-based strategies is further divided into no-frills strategy and low-price strategy. According to him, the no-frills strategy is a strategy that combines low prices with low perceived product or service benefits and a focus on a price-sensitive market segment. It's important that you understand your customers. So if you know your customers and you know the characteristics of your customers, that will help you to know what kind of strategies that you can use to target them. So here we are saying that no-frills strategies combine low prices with low perceived product or service benefits and a focus on a price-sensitive market segment. Let me ask you, who are price-sensitive market segments? If you say the strategy focus on price-sensitive market segment, what kind of customers are we talking about? Are you there?
Sir, please, can I try?
Yes, please.
Sir, please, I think there are customers who are mainly concerned about the prices of products.
Yes. Customers who are mainly concerned about prices of products. So generally, we are talking about poor people. If you are dealing with poor people, this is one of the best strategies that you can use to target them. No-frills strategy. Because no-frills strategy combines low prices with low perceived product or service benefits. And they focus on price-sensitive market segment. Means people whose purchasing decisions are based on price, but not quality. If they go to the market, they want to buy any item, they compare all prices and choose the lowest price. Instead of comparing quality and go for the best quality, they will compare prices and go for the lowest price. That is no-frill customers. So if you are dealing with customer group who are generally poor, their purchasing decisions are based on price. If you increase price a little, they'll stop buying from you. That is, yes, John Mark.
Yeah, Prof, I seem to have a little challenge with definition that price-sensitive market segments are poor people, because
Okay.
there are times where we also hold a view that when a product is expensive, it means that the quality is good. Meanwhile, sometimes not the case. So does it mean that when we go and we are losing price as the base for quality, we are rich or we are still poor?
Okay. So if you look at the definition, it says that it combines low prices with low perceived product or service benefits. So the underlying word here is low perceived product or service benefits. Let's look at the Chinese products on our market. What's our perception about Chinese products in Ghana?
They are inferior, low quality.
Yes. We perceive them to be of inferior quality, and the prices are also low. And you see that many people are buying Chinese products, even though we perceive the quality to be of inferior quality. So you see that the Chinese are implementing a strategy in Africa or Ghana because they perceive us to be people who purchasing decisions are based on price but not quality. So it is a strategy that they are implementing here. So if you say Ghanaians are generally target for no free strategy, that it does not necessarily mean that everybody in Ghana is poor, but generally Ghanaians or Africa in general are poor people, and their purchasing decisions are generally influenced by price rather than quality. So if you look at the cars we import to Ghana, right, apart from company cars, you will realize that the majority of us, maybe about 95% or more, will import second-hand cars. But we know that we have brand new cars in a showroom, but we go to the US, we go to Europe and buy used cars because our decisions are influenced by the price, not quality. If our decisions are influenced by quality, we will not go and import overaged cars, flooded cars, or accident cars. But because we are generally poor, our decisions are influenced by price rather than quality. So we buy them here and we think that they are home use. Another example we can give is the hotel industry. John, I come to Accra and I know that Kempinski is there, but I won't go and sleep there. I'll look for the low price one. We will come down when we are looking at focus strategy. We will discuss that. But in general, if you look at the hotel industry, you will see that some people will want to go for the mosquito infected hotels, 70 cedis, 120 cedis, 150 cedis, because their purchasing decisions are influenced by the price, not quality. And you can also use the chop bar industry as an example. If you go to the chop bars, you see that the chop bar is close to a certain gutter. The gutter is smelling. The bowls have not been washed. The place is not neat. There are flies all over. But you want to go for it because it is cheap. And you are not looking at the environment. You are only looking at what is in the bowl. So the purchasing decisions are influenced by price, not the quality of the environment, the hygienic condition, and all these are ignored because we just want food to eat. So these are no free strategy. John, are you okay? Yes, Benis.
Good morning, Prof. Beatrice, please.
Beatrice,
it's just to add to what you just explained on using the poor in quotes. I'm just giving an example that if somebody doesn't really have enough, and then assuming the little that I have to buy clothes, I have to buy food, you wouldn't expect me to look at going to buy expensive clothes. I would rather want to consider probably secondhand, because if I use all the money to buy clothes, then what else would I use to buy foodstuffs? So that's how I understand it, being that probably poor in quotes, because the money they have actually is not even enough for you to consider pricing or for you to consider quality of goods. What you need is that at least it should be affordable, or you'll be able to afford it and then also use it to buy other things. So that's, I understand why, in quotes, poor people may fall under this sales strategy. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Beatrice. So generally, everybody wants quality. There's nobody under this sun who say, me, I don't want quality. Everybody wants quality. But when you go to the market, your decision is not influenced by quality. It is influenced by price. And that makes it no free. John, I hope you're okay now.
Very much so, sir.
Good. So, in fact, it is not only Africa that we have no free customers. Even if you go to Europe, there are no free customers there. There are certain shops that are considered as no free shops. shops in the UK like Lidl, Aldi. These are considered as no-fray shops, supermarkets. You go there, they don't have branded product there. Their products are basic and prices are very, very cheap. So if you go to such shops, you don't even see too many white people there. Generally, you see people from India, Pakistan, Ghana, and Nigeria shopping in those shops. So they are no free. So in fact, it is important that nobody will say, I'm going to implement a no free strategy. But you need to look at the characteristics of your customers. So if, for example, you are opening some retail shop in a certain community, Accra, which community is a poor community? Which of the suburb is generally poor?
Choco, sir.
Okay, so you have your retail shop in Choco, targeting the people there. You know, look at the characteristics of their houses and think about how many people are living in each household. You go to East Legon, there's averagely one household in one apartment or one household in one house. But you go to Choco, you have one house hosting about 4 or 5 different households. The mother, the wife, and the children living in a chamber and hall in the same house. Another mother, the father, the children living in one room in the same house. So you have about 4 or 5 households. It tells you the characteristics of the people. It tells you the income levels of the people. Look at the kind of schools the children attend. Look at the kind of food they eat. Look at the kind of food they eat and the business activities the parents are involved in. You look at the income levels of the parents. It will tell you that these are generally poor. So when you are in such communities, you are likely to implement no-fray strategy. You tend to target them with product that, though perceived to be of inferior quality, prices are low. And these are products that such people, community people, are likely to buy. So that will consider them to be no-fray customers, and therefore you target them with no-fray products. Then we have low price strategy. Low price strategy seeks to achieve a lower price than competitors whilst trying to maintain similar perceived product or service benefits to those offered by competitors. So with the low price strategy, the quality is perceived by customers to be same as competitors' quality. So listen to this one carefully. Customers perceive the quality of your product or service to be the same as competitors' quality, but you tend to charge a lower price than competitors. You tend to charge a lower price than competitors. So in any competitive environment, if customers perceive the quality to be the same, but you decide to reduce your prices, you are likely to get the customers to your side. So it's a way of gaining competitive advantage. The limitations with this strategy is that the moment you decide to reduce price, when quality is perceived to be same as competitors' quality, the moment you decide to reduce price to attract customers, your competitor is also going to react by also reducing their prices. So it brings about price war. You do me, I do you syndrome. So for you to win this strategy, you must be the lowest cost producer. If you are the lowest cost producer in the industry, it means probably you are enjoying economies of scale, or you have certain technology that will help you to reduce your costs. then you'll be able to compete based on price. In this case, you'll be able to reduce your price to a level that competitors cannot match you. And then, in this case, low price strategy work. Then we have differentiation strategy. Differentiation seeks to provide products or services that offer benefits different from those of competitors and that are widely valued by buyers. With the differentiation, you tend to, the customers perceive the product quality to be of better quality than competitors, but you tend to charge similar or same price as competitors. So here, prices are the same as competitors' prices, but customers perceive your product or service to be of a better quality than competitors. So you are better in terms of the quality, the design, the service, and all that. So you differentiate your offering to competitors, but you are charging almost the same price as competitors. Again, customers are rational, and I mentioned that there's no customer who doesn't like quality. They like quality, but when they don't have money, then the decision is based on price. But here with differentiation, once you have differentiated yourself and customers know that your quality is better and you are maintaining the same price as competitors' price, you are likely to get customers to your side. And that means you can gain advantage over competitors. So that is a differentiation strategy. Then there is what we call a hybrid. The hybrid strategy combines low price strategy and differentiation strategy. This means that hybrid strategy simultaneously to achieve differentiation and a price lower than that of competitors. So here, customers perceive your quality to be better than competitors' quality, but at the same time, your prices are lower than competitors' price. It's difficult to achieve, and some people have actually criticized this strategy. The criticism is that if the quality is better than competitors' quality, that is enough to attract customers, even if you charge the same price as competitors' price. It is enough to attract customers because they perceive your quality to be better. So why then do you go ahead to reduce price? Some have also argued that when you differentiate, it goes with cost. So how can you differentiate when cost is increasing and then at the same time you are cutting down your price below competitors' price? It cannot work. But the proponents have argued that this can work. That is, you tend to, if you are able to introduce a better technology, you may have a technology that can help you to reduce costs and improve quality at the same time. When you have that technology breakthrough, then you can improve your quality while at the same time reducing your prices because costs have gone down. In this case, hybrid strategy will work. Then we have focused differentiation. A focused differentiation strategy seeks to provide high perceived product or service benefits, justifying a substantial price premium, usually to a selected market niche. So with focused differentiation, you focus on providing premium product, high quality, high-end product or service, and that goes with premium price. So again, this strategy is used to target a market niche, a small segment of the market. There are some people who value quality and their purchasing decisions are based on quality rather than price. So the no fray, the purchasing decision is based on price rather than quality. Here, the decision is based on quality rather than price. So there are some few individuals, even though we say that Ghana is a target for no fray strategy, we still have few individuals who will go to the market and their decisions are influenced by quality. So they will go and check all the types on the market and they go for the high end. And some people even associate quality with high prices. So they will look for the prices and go for the most expensive ones because they think that is the best quality. So their decision is based on quality rather than price. And you can look at, again, the hotel industry. If you take the hotel industry, there is a good reason why some hotels will even charge in dollars. The 4 and 5 star hotels charging 7,000, 8,000 just for one night. If you are not a target customer, you will not even believe it, but that is what they are charging. You go to the hotel, probably the standard room may be about 2,000 Ghana cedis, but within the same hotel, you may have another room which is about $3,000 just for one night. $3,000. Even now that we say our city has appreciated, $3,000 is over 30,000 Ghana cedis. And somebody will take it and sleep for one night because the person value quality and the decision is influenced by quality, not price. Money is not a problem. So you can also look at the restaurant industry. We mentioned the no-fray restaurant, the chobas. You see that you go to the roadside and buy roasted plantain and granite. That will be about 5 cedis or 10 cedis. But you go to Kempinski and get the same package, you're going to pay about 200 cedis. So roasted plantain and Kempinski, and granite and Kempinski is put on a nice curvy plate for you to be served by somebody well dressed, probably in a tie. You sit, enjoy the cozy environment, the serene environment. You go to their washroom. As soon as you come out, somebody go there and clean your mess. The floor is well polished. You can see your face. So here you are buying the totality of the service. Totality of the service, not just the plantain on the plate. And you should be ready to pay premium price. And that is a focus strategy. There's a good reason why a car manufacturer like Rolls-Royce doesn't have they don't have their showroom in Ghana because it is too expensive and they may not have the target market here. The people who can afford to buy Rolls-Royce, probably they have already bought them. So when they come here, who else is going to buy, right? But we have Toyota here, Mercedes-Benz here, we have Ford, we have Nissan, all them, Kia, they are all here. But we don't have Rolls-Royce here because they target a small segment of the market, a niche market, and that market may not be here. Right, so that is focus differentiation. So if you take hotel like Kempinski, that is Kempinski, Labadi Beach, these are all target for rich people. So if I'm coming to Accra, I would definitely not go for Labadi Beach or Kempinski to sleep because I'm not a target customer unless it is a sponsored program. If it's a sponsored program, I'm not the one paying. So I can go and enjoy. As I said, last year we had a conference there, and because it was a project sponsored money, that is the place we had it. And I remember we paid 6,000 Ghana cedis per person, hosting about 100 people. 6,000 Ghana cedis, and this is when we have even been given a discount. So there's no way I'll go to Accra and spend that money. I'll rather go for a lower end hotel to sleep in. Right. Yes, Prince.
Yes, hi, Prof. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so please, I have a question with respect to the examples you emphasize on with the hotel industry where prices are determined by the niches. So I want to understand, is it because there's no heavy regulations that makes them give those prices? Because when you look at other industries like the telecom, where for you to even set the price of a SIM card, it has to go through several approvals. Is it because they don't have that heavy regulations that allow them to just set a price to their customers? Thank you.
Yes. In the hotel industry, we have classes. So we have the guest houses, we have the 1 stars, we have the 2 stars, you have the 3 stars, you have the 4 stars, and the 5 stars. So it has been classified in such a way that everybody can get what he or she wants. So if your money is 100 cedis, you will get a place to sleep. And if somebody wants a 5 star, it means the person is ready to pay. We cannot say that there must be a regulation that will force Kempinski to bring their price down to 100 cedis so that I can go and sleep there. It won't work that way. That's why there are classifications. So everybody, the poor people can get a hotel to sleep, and the rich people can also get their standard. You go there and the facilities they have put in, what they have put in the facilities, you cannot say you are regulating them to sell their room at 100 cedis. You get it. So I don't think that there is any regulation like that. No, there can't be.
Thank you, Prof.
What the regulators do is that they have a standard for all the stars. If you are a 3 star, they have a minimum standard that you are supposed to meet. If you are a 2 star, there's minimum standard. 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, there are minimum standard that you are supposed to meet. For that, they ensure that you meet the standard, and that allow you to charge what you charge. So it is about what they offer. When it comes to data, you cannot say that if I'm buying a data from MTN and you are also buying a data from MTN, we cannot say that your data is of better quality than my data. Data is data. So there's a good reason that we have the same prices. But hotel, the services are not same, different services, and therefore we pay more depending on the service that you want to enjoy. The last one, yes, Bismarck.
Sir, the example you were giving with the data depending on the network too. If maybe Glow with MTN and Tigo or Vodafone, depending on the quality. Because if Takadi here, maybe MTN will be good. But within Takadi, someone will also buy maybe Vodafone. But it's the same data that we are using. But
that is not data. That is a network service.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
All right.
So what about the lower price strategy that you were talking about with the you said there's going to be a price war when maybe we are charging the same price, but the product is also quality.
Yes. No, I
But
was saying
your
that
your
that
yes,
is
sir.
low price strategy we are talking about.
Yes,
You,
sir. But your
you
opponent too can also say bad thing about your product that maybe it's not quality. Looking
well,
at what MTN did to Glow
that's
when
why we
Glow was
say
coming up.
that's why we say it is perceived quality. Customers
Okay.
perceive your quality to be the same as competitors' quality,
Yes, sir.
but you tend to charge lower price. That is low price strategy. It is not competitors that is going to tell me that their quality is better than your company. It is my own perception. Customers perceive the quality to be the same or to be better or to be inferior. That is the perception of the customer. Yes, Margaret.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Yeah. With the question that Bismarck asked,
Yes.
you were saying that it is network problem. But
Yes.
when you buy the data at a
Yes.
lower cost, you don't get fast network. Like the speed is low.
Yes.
If you buy at a higher price, the speed is high. So what you say, I think I kind of side with you.
Are you saying that if you buy more data, the speed is high,
Yes,
and you buy small data, the speed is low?
yes.
Is that
I've
is
been
that the
experiencing it.
is that the case?
Yes.
No, please.
For example,
Divine, please help us with that. Why? We beg.
Margaret,
yes, sir.
I believe that if
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you at the same place and you buy data 2,000 Ghana cedi. All right, who is that? I buy data 2,000 cedis and you
Uh-huh.
buy data 100 cedis.
Mm-hmm.
At the same place, the speed is the same.
The speed is never the same.
Is there anybody from the telco here to help us with this?
Yes, Divine.
Hi, Prof.
Yes.
Divine,
Can you
MTN.
help us?
Yeah, so what happens is that when you buy the data, it depends on the device as well, because there are devices, they have network strength as well. So every device is a strength that produces. So it means I can
Exactly.
buy 300 megabytes, you can buy 300 megabytes, you might be in the same location, but the device strength and network strength on the device are different. So it makes the
Exactly.
bandwidth run differently from each devices.
Yes.
So it's not about the lower you buy, the lower the network. It's about
Exactly.
the other factors that includes the device, because currently the device that are
Yes.
coming on board has higher network capabilities than
Yes.
the old one. So it affects the strength, the speed, the download and
Good.
upload. Like that's how it works.
Good.
Please, thank you.
Good. Good. Thank you very much for the explanation. Maggie, are we okay now?
So
Yes, sir. I'm okay.
So
Sir,
buy a good
iPhone,
phone and your network will be faster.
iPhones,
My
but
phone is good.
iPhones will go more than Samsung or what say.
I've never used iPhone before. I've never used iPhone. I use Samsung.
Prof, you don't know what you are missing.
Eh. Once I have not been exposed to it, it means I'm not missing anything. If you have tried it before, then you'll be licking your tongue. But once I've not used it before, I am satisfied with Samsung.
Sir, please, my question is, looking at the explanation to the failure strategy, what is the
Yes,
difference between this one and the no-frill strategy?
significant difference. A failure strategy is the one which does not provide perceived value for money in terms of product features, price, or both. For example, increasing price when quality is going down, or increasing price when quality is actually deteriorating. that is a failure strategy. When you do that, you are likely to lose your customers.
Okay.
Right? Your quality is going down, and then you want to increase your price. You lose your customers, so that becomes a failure strategy.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And sometimes nobody will say, I'm going to implement a failure strategy. But sometimes if you look at the characteristics of some of the businesses, you can only predict that this strategy is going to fail. Unless you are a monopoly organization like ECG. ECG can decide to increase price at the time quality is even worse. But because we don't have any option, you them. But if they have competitors, ECG would have gone bankrupt by now. So that makes it a failure strategy.
Oh, okay.
Right. We are going to close now. And next week, hopefully we'll be able to finish.
Prof, next week we'll be writing exams.
Are you writing
on
exam next
Saturday?
week? Which
Yes,
paper is
we
that?
are writing on ethics. We'll be writing on ethics.
Professor Henry. Did you say
yes,
you want to write exams?
Yes, sir. There was a change in the timetable the first semester with research method. So we did research method in the first semester, which was supposed to be done this semester. So exams results have not been able to be submitted. So unless we write the exams on ethics before the time.
Okay, so then what we'll do is, so definitely it will be in the morning. So we can have
Saturday in the morning.
Saturday in the morning, then we can have afternoon session for the class.
But has time been confirmed for the exam?
No, sir, please, some of us, after the paper, we might be traveling. So if we can make it Sunday.
And Dr. Henry,
so let's wait for the timetable to come out.
Confirmed the time yet.
The
timetable will come out.
Let me find out from Henry. Henry.
Hello, sir.
Hello, I'm here.
Yes, will we still be having our midterm next week? Considering our exam and all of that.
No, there will be no midterm. I'm asking from Professor Henry. Hello, Kofi. Corporate governance. Are they having midterm next week from you?
My main exam.
Is it?
They are doing my main exam this weekend.
Why is it a block basis?
No, it's not on block. You know, my course, they were supposed to do it in first semester. But then for second semester.
Okay.
But you know, they are supposed to do research and they will be allocated supervisors based on the research topics and all those things. So we moved research methods to the first semester.
Okay.
And then my course to second semester. But because we need the marks, because they have registered it for first semester, what we need the marks for them to enable them go audit and then provide them their results. I usually do the first block courses. At the end of that, my course, they take the main exam.
Okay. Maybe what they should have done was, while they did the changes, they should have moved the research methods to first semester to replace this.
Why? Because the index and not the index,
the course codes.
So eventually, what we may have to do is
to change the course code. Yes, I think so. Anyway, so when are they writing it? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Let them write it on Sunday so that I can have them the whole Saturday.
Okay, all right. That's also possible. That's also possible. Why not? I can arrange with the idea people for them to write it on Sunday.
Yes.
Yes. But then you need to communicate to them.
Yeah, I'm with them here. They are listening to you.
Okay, all right. So if that is the case, then we can write the paper on Sunday.
Okay.
So we can think. I was thinking that because they will be anxious to write the paper.
Will you be anxious to write the paper?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
we'll be anxious to write the
Sunday
paper.
is okay. Sunday is okay.
Yes, so
Sunday is okay.
Sunday
Sunday
will
is
favor
okay.
some of us.
we
We've
want
already
to write
made
on
plans.
Saturday. We'll be
No,
anxious to write the
Sunday won't
paper.
favor us.
Saturday.
Please, we've already made plans.
Hello,
Sunday
please.
won't favor some of us.
Please,
Sunday will
please,
not
please.
favor us, please.